With over 1.3 billion inhabitants, China quickly became the most populated nation. It's hardly surprising that the country's ever-increasing population requires constant creative solutions. Do you want to find out what these substantial Chinese underwater projects that send chills around the globe are? You've come to the right place. Welcome to Madewell Finder, where we will investigate the different innovations from China that can potentially affect our society at large. We're probably familiar with China continually pushing the limits of urban design, as seen by the country's substantial underwater marine laboratories and the world's most extended underwater tube. But that doesn't stop there. Their newest plan is to implement a string of undersea megaprojects to ease population pressure and fight global warming. Let's begin with China's underwater tunnel, the longest in the world. China, home to the Great Wall and one of the highest structures in the world, has a big aim to create the longest underwater tunnel ever. However, they needed the best possible setting for it. Because of its closeness to Beijing, the Bohai Strait, a waterway off the coast of eastern China near the Korean Peninsula, provided the answer. Given its importance as a maritime route, the government intends to build a tunnel through the strait to shorten commute times significantly. This can be a great relief to commuters in these places. The 76-mile rail will be a substantial technical advance because 90 kilometers of it will be built underwater. The current record for depth is 38 kilometers. Therefore, this would set a new record. Including the 54-kilometer-long Seikan Tunnel in Japan, the Channel Tunnel connects the United Kingdom and France. The tunnel's primary function is to link the cities of Dalian and Yantai. It takes 8 hours to travel between the two cities, even though the distance between them on each side of the strait is just 162 kilometers. If the new tunnel is constructed, high-speed trains can travel between the two cities in under 45 minutes. It can shorten the travel distance. Other countries should take note of its efficiency. The initially anticipated completion date for the tunnel was set for 2023 with a spending of about 260 billion yuan. Despite its big goals, this strategy would not produce the world's longest tunnel. Although it will be the longest tunnel for trains, it will not be the longest tunnel overall. To put that in perspective, if 4 reservoirs in upstate New York were to dry up, the 137-kilometer-long Delaware Aqueduct would continue to have that distinction. About half of New York City's drinking water passes through this tunnel daily. Can you imagine that? But sad to say, the Bohai Strait Tunnel project is ambitious, but it will not win the award for longest in the world. China is not just constructing tunnels for trains, it has also opened the world's second longest highway tunnel, the breathtaking China Lake Tunnel. Even though China's eastern provinces have trailed behind the rest of the country regarding economic and infrastructure development, a glimmer of hope was shined on them on January 9, 2018. In the Jiangsu province of China, roughly 50 kilometers east of Shanghai, construction has begun on a tunnel with an estimated cost of $1.56 billion. The building's primary purpose is to reduce traffic. Traffic is one of the main reasons for being late, so this cuts it off significantly. The 11-kilometer Taihu Tunnel connects Shanghai and Nanjing and is part of the almost 44-kilometer Changzhou-Wuxi Highway. Connecting Suzhou, Wuxi, and Changshu's expressways helps reduce congestion around the lake and stimulates the local economy. The tunnel's roadway can fit 6 lanes of traffic and is around 57 feet in width. Meanwhile, the ceiling has been equipped with multicolored LED lights to keep drivers alert and focused on the narrow roads below. If more than coffee is needed for these sleepy working drivers, then that is not a problem. It's part of the equation. More than 2 million square feet of concrete was used in the building's construction. In addition, the construction crew employed fully automated steel processing machinery and high-tech systems to guarantee that no wastewater or dust was released throughout the building process. Compared to other underwater highway tunnels in China, this one is far and by the longest. The Ryfast Tunnel, which runs between Stavanger and Strand, is the longest in Norway and among the longest in the world at almost 14 kilometers in length. Britain and France are connected by the world's longest railroad tunnel, which spans 38 kilometers. Despite China's late start in constructing these tunnels beneath the ocean, the country has made a breakthrough with this one that will leave lasting economic benefits. China has plans to construct a sea lab. Because roads aren't enough, these sea labs are 10,000 feet below the surface. The Chinese government is upping its intentions to build a sea lab on the South China Sea seafloor. The deep-sea platform, located around 10,000 feet below the surface, acts mainly to find oil and gas resources, but may also serve military functions. Its investment is multi-purpose. Please take it to China to be cost-efficient. The Chinese government considers this project the most important scientific and technical effort for the next 5 years. Yet, it's still being determined when precisely the platform will be built on the ocean floor or for how much. Several countries, including China, Vietnam, and the Philippines, have a lot of impact on the control of the South China Sea, where the facility is likely to be located. China has built 7 artificial islands, shipyards, and radar systems, and claims ownership of more than 80% of the South China Sea. China believes it's vital to their national security to construct a deep-sea station to facilitate offshore drilling and military operations. The project is still driven by China's insatiable want for natural resources, but a recent government briefing has hinted that the platform would be accessible and used for defense. Experts tend to ignore the South China Sea's weak estimates of its limited funds and instead focus on the possibility of oil and gas deposits. The potential for 11 billion barrels of oil and 190 trillion cubic feet of natural oil to be found in the region. That's a lot of oil to be drilled. The Chinese government is also proposing to construct an underwater bullet train. In the not-too-distant future, traveling from China to the United States may appear like an outdated way of transportation. The end is coming. At this point, you can be so worried by the concept that you refuse to hear anything more about it. Some would even call me a killjoy for preferring airplanes and free slots with no deposit. Why then should we risk going underwater? Let me tell you, even food games are changed on occasion. Thanks to the Chinese government's grand scheme, you'll reach the US in only 2 days. Given that you wouldn't have to deal with airport check-in and departure procedures, those 48 hours were fly-by compared to the 14 hours in the air. This is very much an efficient way of traveling across countries. Ideally, we would like to have a system that connects the United States, Canada, China, and Russia. The train would depart China and cross the Bering Strait by a tunnel. After then, it will go on to Russia, an existing part of the project. The trouble is in the United States, though. The last breakout of the coronavirus hasn't done much to improve already sour relations between China and the US. To add insult to injury, the estimated cost of the train is $200 billion, including 13,000 kilometers of rail. This will be a big task in Chinese history. Although politically influential, the project's outstanding appearance cannot be ignored. But what do we know of their future relationships? They may be able to sort things out. The vast expanse of the project is another obstacle. It has the potential to be the most expensive endeavor of the new millennium. In light of this, China should adequately prepare for it before rushing into anything. Not only that, but the railway can't only stick to the Chinese canals. Sure enough, funding also comes from other countries. Will these countries help fund the project, or will they merely lend their support while China enjoys the benefits? After all expenses and revenue have been paid for, a comparison is required. Taking a train there will cost you a lot of time, money, and effort. If the investment leads to more accessible transit, trade, and the overall economy, it's well spent. Today's technology allows us to build tunnels beneath the ocean floor for practically any reason, even though the geological and environmental conditions are complex. What are your thoughts? Do you think China is an innovating leader? Which one will be most effective among the 4 inventions mentioned? Comment down your answers below. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more, remember to hit that subscribe button if you want. No pressure. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you at the next one of Made Well Finder.